Trolling is defined as an act of leaving an insulting message in order to annoy someone. Media trolling and internet trolling are one of the most common forms of trolling. You just leave a message on Facebook or Twitter and wait for people to react to it. It's usually a very provocative or humiliating message, and the fun is in watching people's reaction. This was still okay, but nowadays trollers make scathing personal attacks as well. The tendency to say things under the cloak of anonymity reflects a cowardly, bitter, and vengeful attitude. But today we are not talking about trollers, we are talking about the people who are victims of trolling. It is not very easy to ignore trollers. Somebody who has just mentioned wrongly the name of the President of India remains branded for the rest of her life as a dumb person, or just because you have said something slightly different from the collective opinion on social media, you are threatened every day with rape or murder. These are things which are extremely difficult to ignore. Today, we are going to discuss the problems of the victims of internet trolling and how to handle them. First of all, remember that you are not alone. The victims of trolling range from schoolgirls to celebrities, from adolescents to middle aged people. Therefore, you need not ask yourself that what is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. These people who can troll a 13-year-old about her complexion and almost drive her to suicide are people who need to be ignored. How to ignore them? Remember, trollers do this because they crave for the attention. Their fun is in your reaction. So, as far as possible, try not to respond to them because after a point of time, if their need for attention is not fed, they may just stop trolling you altogether. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. Suppose you have a business account and somebody is leaving negative reviews in your account every day. In that case, I suggest you sit down quietly, draw up the points that you want to argue the person with, and give a firm but polite reply. Do not go for an instant reaction because instant reactions do not bode well for your business profile as well. Secondly, if you find the comments very humiliating or insulting, then block the person, of course, but before that, also report him. If you report someone, then Twitter or Facebook may take notice, and if this person is doing it regularly, then he or she may have his or her account blocked. You can also approach the police, the cyberbullying section, with adequate proof. Remember, it is normal to get angry. You may feel like shooting this person. It's also normal to feel very sad and extremely anxious. Acknowledge your emotions. You are not going crazy. Anyone would have similar reactions in your place. The trick is not to react on those emotions, at least publicly. If you want to talk it out, find a friend who understands you but at the same time has a cool mind because empathy is not enough. If your friend is also as vulnerable emotionally as you are, then he or she may not be the right person to talk to. Whatever has happened to you, talk it out. It may be something very humiliating, but do not feel bad to discuss it. If you have had taken intimate pictures with someone, it's because you trusted him or her. If that person has broken your trust, it's his business. You need not feel ashamed. It is not a reflection of your character or your life. As a psychiatrist, I would also request you to consider this. Leave aside some time every day which is internet free if possible. Maybe half an hour to 1 hour a day, you begin with that when you do not remain in touch with the net at all. This has two purposes. One, you tend to understand that there's a difference between the real world and the virtual world, and it is the real world that matters. And two, if you are free of internet, you get more time to talk to people in flesh and blood, and then the real bonds become stronger, and you understand that what an unknown troller is telling you does not really matter. Finally, look into the silver lining. Find meaning in your experience. While it is true that what happened to you is horrible, it does not have to define who you are. Instead, try to think about what you learned from this experience. For example, did you learn to be more careful about posting online? Did this experience make you more assertive? Look into those small silver points. Do not hesitate, do not feel bad, and of course, never feel humiliated by the bullying act of others. Thank you so much.